We are live. We are live. Welcome to College Football's Peek Around the Corner with your host, Greg Pflugar. We cover everything in college football because we love everything in college football. And if you do as well, please subscribe to this channel. Smash the like button if you like our content. Share the video with your family and friends. Welcome on in. Welcome on in to the studio that sits on the corner of Keith Jackson Parkway and Kurt Gowdy Avenue. Do not be afraid. Do not be afraid to be a legend, a PATC legend. In the comment section with your phone calls later in the show, welcome on in. It's a late PATC live show, late Tuesday night. October, what day is it? October 3rd. We're going into week 6. We're going into week 6. Now, I got one question to ask. Does it look okay? We got a new camera setup. Do I look beautiful like always, or do I look ugly? If I look ugly, that means we have a problem, right? Right? That's what it means, right? Does it look okay? Let me know in the comment section. Give me a thumbs up. Give me a thumbs down. I look fabulous. That means the camera is working better than usual. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Turtle. Thank you, AMAC. Looks the same to me. Okay. All right. Okay, first of all, we got to go through our picks last week. Should have done this Monday. Should have done this earlier today, but I've been busy waiting for the new camera, waiting to set it up. So many things going on. I know you're tired of the excuses. And I did horrible last week. Greg, the cooler, is back. And once again, the PATC community did a little bit better than I did. I still have a better overall record. Let's get through those games real quick. Let's get through those real quick. And then I'm going to make my picks. We're going to wait to make your picks later on in the week, probably tomorrow. I'm going to do my picks, then you're going to do your picks later in the week. Then we got to do the Michigan State Hot Board 2.0. 1.0, we're ripping it all up. It was first blush. First, we just said what I thought. Poking and prodding. We've got some names on the list. I know one of these gentlemen that we're about to talk about basically denied interest, sort of, kind of, but we've been told to have him on the list. So PATC has a certain coach on the list that many other people will not have, but we're going to keep him on. Then we're going to talk about Urban Meyer. A report, we're going to get to it. I'm going to have to go on my Twitter page and take another look at it. Urban Meyer's going to be, there's interest on both sides of the fence for Urban Meyer to be interviewed for the Michigan State Spartans job. We're going to go into that. So we have a lot to discuss. Then we're going to get to your phone calls later in the show. The color is different. We might have to adjust the color, but it doesn't look bad, correct? I hope it's okay. The Red River Rivalry, big game this week. Big game, and of course that's on one of the games that we're going to predict this week. Oklahoma, Texas, both undefeated. Texas number 3 in the country. Oklahoma, I think they're number 12? I got that right? Not bad, a tad dark. The lights look like bug zapper lights. Well, that's how it always looked like. It looks like a TV show about to go to Mexico. I don't know what that means. Don't know what that means. Daniel Montecastle. Michigan State hires Tom Allen. Indiana hires Urban Meyer. Okay. A lot of people talking about, thank you, Billy Tuesday. I appreciate that. I'll make sure that my wife sees that comment. Bruce says the filters are working perfectly. Looks good, Greg. Okay, we're going to go as is, obviously. We'll make the adjustments as time goes on. I do think it's a little bit darker, but maybe that's good. Or maybe that's bad. I don't know. Okay, let's get through the games of last week because those were just killers. There is, and we also have to talk about my head looks smaller. My head looks smaller. The camera's a little bit farther away. It's a new camera. It's a little bit farther away. It's a little bit higher. Craig, have you heard anything about the happenings in the ACC? October 5th and 6th. We'll get to that. We'll get to the Clemson board meetings. They're having their quarterly board meetings starting Thursday. It's going to be Thursday and Friday. And there's one part of the board meeting that we should all be focused on. One part of it. That's what I've been told. So we'll go into that as well. But let's get through these games. Louisville, North Carolina State. I took Louisville. You guys took Louisville. We pushed. Man, that was not a very good game. Brennan Armstrong, the starting quarterback in North Carolina State. And well, he's getting replaced. He lost the starting job. That was a miserable game. Louisville won by 3. We both pushed. Utah, Oregon State. Utah's offense. They need Cameron Rising back. We don't know when Cameron Rising is going to be back. DJ Ungo Ungale made a couple big plays. Oregon State covered. We both lost on that, myself and the PATC community. Kansas and Texas, I blew it here. I took Kansas because I was 0-2 going against them. Texas covered. We both took a bath on that. Florida, Kentucky. Kentucky's my big sleeper this year. You guys know how much I love them. They were my number one sleeper pick. They're finally in the AP top 25. And we both won that one. This one, Clemson and Syracuse. Clemson covered. I lost. You guys won. Colorado did the backdoor cover as I predicted. I covered. You guys lost that one. You had USC. LSU, we both lost, of course. What a game. What a game. Duke and Notre Dame, I lost. You guys won. We did a live watch party. It was so much fun Saturday night. But man, 4th and 16. 4th and 16. 4th and 16. And Sam Hartman gets the first down and nobody closes the gap on him. You can't let that happen. What a... Forget about who cares. Okay, I lost the play. But Duke lost the game on that. It was so close. It was a fun night. It was a fun night. I don't think it's going to be as fun this coming up Saturday night. We'll get to that game here shortly. Thank you, John, for your generosity once again. What if SMU jumped the claim and hired Urban Meyer? Don't think Urban Meyer will go to SMU. No disrespect to SMU. And we'll get to what I believe if Urban Meyer jumped back into head coaching. I think there's only a few places he would go. Few places that he would go to where also they would take him. Not everybody's going to take Urban Meyer anymore. Those days are gone. The way he conducted himself at Jacksonville, that was bad. I don't believe he's got it anymore. Oh yeah, he loves football. He knows football. He's successful in football. But I'm talking about interpersonal relationships, especially at the college level. I don't think he can do it anymore. But we'll get to if I believe he's in the hot. Now that's my belief. We'll see if we'll talk about what Michigan State believes here shortly. But thank you, John, for your super chat. I appreciate it once again. Thank you so much. So I went 2-5-1 against the spread last week. PATC community went 3-4-1. My record for the year against the spread, my record against the spread is 18-2. The PATC community's record against the spread is 16-20-2. So you're 2 games behind me. I am back to being Greg the Cooler because I'm nowhere near the 60% winning mark that I need to be to become Greg the Heater. So once again, I have fallen back in despair. So, not good news, but this week, I believe there's a couple locks this week. I'm going to go through my predictions for this week. And you know what? Do you guys want it? Why don't you guys, we'll have you vote on these games as well. PATC community gonna make their picks tonight. Let's just do it. Let's just do it because there's going to be lots to talk about as the week goes on. So let's get to it. All right? Let's get to it. Game number 1. I'm going to go through mine real quick, then we'll go through yours. Dickert to Michigan State. Let's get through the picks first. Maryland and the Buckeyes. Ohio State minus 19.5. And you guys know how much I respect the Terrapins this year. I think they're the real deal Holyfield. But I'm going to take the Buckeyes. And this is not a slight against the Terrapins. I think the Buckeyes got rejuvenated. They just got by Notre Dame week off. I think they've got all the juice in the world. To me, this is like it's timing. The timing ain't right for Terrapins. Terrapins are going to give Penn State, Michigan, Ohio State, they're going to give somebody all they want and more. But I don't think it's going to be this Saturday. I've got the Buckeyes minus 19.5, and I think the PATC community could very well take the Terrapins. Now, second game, Oklahoma, Texas. I blew it last week, man. I should have taken the Longhorns. I'm taking the Longhorns this week. We've been right on the Longhorns. I got the game right, but I got the landscape correct when it comes to the Texas Longhorns this year. They are back. Quinn Ewers, worthy. The defense can actually tackle. Oklahoma's been playing great, no question about it. But the Longhorns get this, minus 6.5. So far, I've taken the Buckeyes and the Longhorns. UCLA, Washington State. Boy, this is a fascinating. I just picked this game because, I think the PATC community is going to go 50-50 on this game. But I'm going to take the Washington State Cougars plus 3.5 points. Washington State plus 3.5 point. Kentucky and Georgia. You know where I'm going with this. Davis, Devin Leary, the quarterback, running back combination, the great coaching staff. I'm taking Kentucky. But did you see Brock Bowers jump up to the top of the Heisman race last week in that close victory for the Bulldogs? I did. Brock Bowers, the best tight end in college football. Holy smokes, what a performance. Brock Bowers, Georgia, minus 14.5 at home. And I'm crazy enough to take my Kentucky Wildcats. So I got Kentucky. Here we go. The battle. The battle for the little brown jug. The Michigan Wolverines at Minnesota, NBC primetime. I think it's starting at 7:30 Eastern time. Michigan is favored by 19.5 points. This line has jumped up in the last day. All the money's going on the Wolverines. I'm going to be doing a live watch party on this game. It's going to be David versus Goliath in this game. Minnesota has played lousy this season as they sit there in 3-2. They should be 4-1, but even if they were 4-1, it's still been lousy football. So who would be crazy enough to take Minnesota plus 19.5 points? Who's the crazy person out there that would actually take the Golden Gopher? Who's the crazy person out there who would actually continue to row the boat? Row the boat! Row the boat! It's me, the fat guy from Minnesota. I'm taking the Minnesota Golden Gophers plus 19.5 points. Now, after I said that, we need a little prayer circle. We need the PATC prayer circle. Join me. We need Darius Taylor, the man who's won back-to-back Freshman of the Week award, and all the Big Ten are beast of a running back who didn't play last week. He didn't even practice last week. He's got some sort of ankle sprain. We need him against Michigan. Now our backup, our other freshman running back, Zach Evans, went to town last week, and he won the Big Ten Freshman of the Week award. The Minnesota Golden Gophers have won the Freshman of the Week award for 4 straight weeks for the entire conference. But we got no back 7. J.J. McCarthy's going to go 30 for 32. He's going to go 30 for 32. But I'm still taking the Gophers. Something. We're actually going to get a scoop and a score. Pick 6. Special teams. The worst special teams in all of college football. And the Gophers are actually going to do something. Yes, I'm crazy. I'm taking the Gophers plus 19.5 points. North Carolina, Syracuse. I got North Carolina. Schrader versus Drake May in this game. Garrett Schrader versus Drake May. I like the matchup. I still think North Carolina's slow in that secondary, but no one has been able to really just take advantage of it. I'm taking North Carolina minus 8.5. This is a tight one. This line here, Kansas State minus 11.5 at Oklahoma State. Kansas State on the road at Oklahoma State. This line is really high. So high, they want you to take Oklahoma State. But I can't do it. I'm taking Kansas State minus 11.5. They've had some issues in Kansas State. Not like Oklahoma State, but so minus 11.5. But I got to do it. And finally, Notre Dame and Louisville once again. Look, Louisville, Jeff Brom, you've done an outstanding job. You're 5-0. First-year head coach. You got everybody excited at Louisville. We've seen the weaknesses of Notre Dame. Notre Dame has a weak receiver room. They can't get separation for Sam Hartman. That's put pressure on the offense. But the defense is stout. Louisville's defense came to play last week. But I got the Fighting Irish. I've got Notre Dame minus 6.5. So I got the Buckeyes. I got the Longhorns. I got the Washington State Cougars. I got the Kentucky Wildcats. I got the Minnesota Golden Gophers. North Carolina Tar Heels, Kansas State, and Notre Dame. Kansas State, Wildcats, Notre Dame. The Cats and the Irish. Now, we're going to go through your predictions right now. We'll get through this, and then we got lots to talk about in all of college football. Whole bunch of stuff to talk about. Michigan State hot board. Clemson. Does Ohio State cover the 19.5 point spread versus Maryland? Yes or no? Start your votes now. Oh, a lot of people did not like my picks in the chat room. Holy smokes. Sorry, Greg. Another bad week for you, Jamie Thornton. Greg, sometimes the heart makes bad decisions. It's okay. It's an Arkansas grad. That's an Arkansas grad. I get it. Jamie thinks I've done bad. Could be correct. The votes. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The votes are in. 61% of the voters took Maryland. That's what I thought. I don't blame you at all. Normally, I would have taken Maryland in this game. Normally, I would have agreed. It's the timing of it. I think Ohio State's going to be fresh, a lot of juice, a lot of confidence. I do not blame the PATC community for that vote. Okay. Next one. Does Texas cover -6.5 point spread versus Oklahoma? Does Texas cover the -6.5 point spread versus Oklahoma? The voting starts now. There's a question here about Darius Taylor. Darius Taylor could be. Look, Golden Gophers are going to have to give him. Darius Taylor is going to get a massive NIL deal at Minnesota or somewhere else. And I don't blame him. If you're a running back, you've got to get the money. You've got to go where the bag of cash is. It's up to Minnesota. And of course, even if Minnesota brings the bag of cash, Michigan or the Buckeyes or the Nittany Lions or somebody else, they just might be able to lure him away. Those are the days of college football. You can't complain over spilt milk when it comes to that stuff. We got 10 more seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ending the poll. Again, 61% says Texas will cover. So far, the PATC community has voted Maryland covering the spread against the Buckeyes at +19.5. Texas -6.5. That's what the PATC community has voted on thus far. Next poll. Got to get the game up there. Next poll. Does UCLA Bruins cover -3.5 point spread versus Washington State? Does UCLA Bruins cover the -3.5 point spread versus Washington State? Voting starts now. The voting starts now. Interesting. Again, going to give it another 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. No. 62% takes Washington State. Ooh. I've also got Washington State. Now the next game. Kentucky versus Georgia. Does Georgia cover Does Georgia cover the -14.5 point spread versus Kentucky? The poll starts now. The voting starts now. Georgia Bulldogs, the two-time defending, reigning, undisputed national champions, had a tough game last week. Kentucky is on a roll. They whooped up on the Florida Gators. Gonna give it 5 more seconds. Gonna give 5 more seconds to the voting. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 72%. Wow. 72% says no. Kentucky. I think the PATC community loves Kentucky as much as I do. Okay, we agree on that one. The next question. Uh-oh. Does Michigan cover minus 19.5 point spread versus beloved, I don't even know how to spell beloved. Beloved Golden Gophers. Does Michigan cover the minus 19.5 point spread versus beloved Golden Gophers? The voting starts now. The votes are coming on in. Boo! Boo! The PATC voting community is off their rockers. 5 more seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh boy, a whole lot of ballot stuffing went on there, ladies and gentlemen. 80% takes Michigan. Terrible pick. Absolutely terrible pick. Okay, let's get to the next one. I don't want to dwell on that. I do not want to dwell on that result. Let's get to North Carolina and Syracuse. Does North Carolina cover the minus 8.5 point spread versus Syracuse? The voting starts now. Voting starts now. It looks like this vote's going the same way as the Michigan did. Giving it 5 more seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 75% got North Carolina. North Carolina. Not much support for the 8.5 for the Syracuse Orange. Okay, here we go. Now this, I got a feeling I know where this is going, but not sure. Kansas State. Does Kansas State cover minus 11.5 point spread versus versus Oklahoma State? The voting starts now. Opie asks, can Gophers swim? I think they can if there's not a big wave. If there's not a big wave that can drown them. But I would take a Gopher up against a Wolverine anytime. Ooh, boy. The votes are coming on big at Kansas State. Big on Kansas State. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The votes are in. 88% takes the Kansas State. That's what I figured, but man, that 11.5 point spread. That's pretty big. Okay, this is our last one here. Last one. Last game. Does the Notre Dame Fighting Irish cover -6.5 point spread versus Louisville? Voting starts now. Voting starts now. We actually have a decently close vote here. 5 seconds to go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And that was our closest vote. Notre Dame. The community has Notre Dame covering 52% of the votes are in. So thank you, everybody, for doing all that. We both have the same teams, except for I got the Buckeyes, you got Maryland, and I got Minnesota. Plus 19.5, you got the Michigan Wolverines. The PATC community has the Michigan Wolverines. No! Whoa! Fighting Illini, Ted said, fire at the Memorial Stadium in Campaign tonight. No word yet on damage or about the Nebraska-Illinois game Friday night. Is there any updates on that? Is there any updates on that? I'm looking for no word yet on the cause. Any damage, Ted? Or did I miss some other comment? Let me know. Let me know, Ted, what the results of that is, if there's any updates. Wow. Hopefully everything's okay. Hopefully there's not much damage. Immaculate, was Immaculate on the Monty show? Immaculate, give us a call if that, what, I don't know what's going on there either. Oklahoma State's a mess, no question about it. Kansas State's all rested. Ted says, I'll be rooting for Minnesota, but yeah, not happening. Jared Jones, thank you so much for your incredible super chat. Thank you. Thank you for your generosity, for your friendship, Mr. Buckeye. For picking the Buckeyes and saying, fighting in Irish. Appreciate you, Godfather. I appreciate you, so does the little general. Thank you so much, Jared Jones, for that wonderful super chat. I hope it's okay I took the Buckeyes. I hope so. I hope so. Because Greg the Cooler now suddenly has come back into play. I had a winning season going on. Now I'm suddenly 18-2, and with Juice, which we're not doing Juice because we're not, we're just having a good time here. I would be losing. So 18-2 is definitely Greg the Cooler status. I just think I believe in the Terrapins. I just think it's the wrong week to play the Buckeyes. That's all. That's all. I look at that kind of stuff. I bring that in to my algorithm that's going on in my pickled brain of mine. Prayers out for Morgan State football. It's being stated a mass shooting has occurred. Holy smokes. I'm going to take a look at that right now. Immaculate. I'm not sure what Immaculate's talking about. Immaculate, can you give us a call in? Let me know what you're discussing here. Let me get the lines open. Let me get the lines open. Okay, the phone lines are open. Immaculate, if you want to give us a call. If not, if you're busy, that's fine. I'm not sure what the chat room is talking about, the Monty Show and Immaculate, and I'm not sure what's going on there. In the meantime, the phone lines are open, 763-260-1333.
Call from
Immaculate.
Immaculate, thanks for calling. What's going on? The floor is yours. What's happening? Monty Show, what's going on?
Yeah, that was an interesting time. I actually had fun with that. I don't know if you know, I did a video with Drake over on Locked On Big 12.
Okay.
We kind of went through the details of what I thought might possibly happen as a solution for the log jam out west, right?
Got it.
The PAC, EFP. You know, it was just kind of a fun little video we did going over that. Well, Monty decided to pretty much go full ham on that, saying that he went and contacted sources at schools, that, he was calling me a conspiracy theorist. He was basically attacking Locked On Big 12 because of whatever happened with Mr. Neighbors, and he was there before Drake was, and just kind of going off. But what he didn't know that while he was going off just continuously is that I was in chat for the live show, and like Jamie was there. I think a few other people in chat were also there, and it was just very comical. And he tried to present some information on the actual CFP College Football Playoff website itself, and he only went over, he had a whole page up with 2 big bullet points of information, and he only went over the first one. And I'm like, okay, now go talk about the second bullet point. And sure enough, he just pulled off the page. Other people were saying this too. Half the time, I wasn't even talking. I was just watching chat go off. And Jamie said he was going and going and going, and I'm sitting here. I probably said maybe 10 times, "You're talking about me if you want to talk to me." And finally, because it takes a while for you to get through chat when you're doing a show, and then you start to try to catch up on all the chat, and he finally realized it, and it just pretty much stopped the whole point. And I don't even know. I think AMAC was there for sure as well.
Okay.
Mike Smith was in there, and so they were all speaking up for me, and I'm just sitting here kind of going. It was just kind of very a little surreal and funny, and
yeah.
It's the Monty Show. It's entertainment, and if folks are taking it for much more than that, then it is what it is. But so that went on. So then Drake wanted to do a reply because they were taking shots at him too. So I went back on Drake and I showed all the sources, all the information. So there's another video out with that.
Okay.
With stuff from Navigate. They do research, stuff from the College Football Playoff site. And then just today, I guess 365 did a show about it as well. So it's.
And 365 did a show on the possibility of what? Of Oregon State.
OSU. Yeah. Because I think it sounds like, because I heard a name that I know is a kind of a well-known Oregon State poster and talker and person in chat that they were talking to in DMs. So one of the Oregon State folks went and told them about the story, which lines up because Monty was pissed off in the beginning because supposedly Oregon State and Washington State folks were just making his phone go ding, 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 ding while he was out golfing. So he came in all mad and angry. So the Oregon State folks have been making the rounds based upon some of this. And, it is what it is, right?
Yeah. Like I've said that I was told well over a month ago that the Oregon State, Washington State thing wasn't to the Big 12 wasn't going to happen.
Yeah.
But, you know,
between them and the Big 12, it's been determined already. Like there is nothing there. Like the only way this happens is if CFP problem way up above that causes everyone to try to make this happen. But if it's just left between them and the Big 12, it's not happening. And that gets lost on people, though.
Yeah, I just and it wouldn't matter. I mean, it doesn't like. I just wish that people, but mostly shows, would be okay with people disagreeing with them. You know, I don't know. Like the Monty Show, I'm not going to go off on the Monty Show.
No reason to. I'm not trying to.
Yeah. It's just that, you know, they shouldn't really be going out. They shouldn't be targeting the Big 12, lockdown in Big 12, though. You know, it's just, I don't know.
Well, if I can ask you a question.
Yeah.
You have sources, real sources, they panned out.
Yeah.
Now, I'm sure at times you reach out to them. And
Who do I reach out to?
I don't know, sources.
Oh, yeah, all the time. Yes, yeah.
Yeah, but how many times when you reach out to them when there's no story? Or if maybe there's a story brewing, but they don't have something that they can tell you yet.
Most of the time, that's the case.
So there's no story.
Most of the time.
But like these guys, when they do this, they act like they just can pick up a phone, call a source, and the source says, "Oh yeah, well there's nothing going on," so that means that there's nothing going on. And it's like, no, they'll tell you there's something going on if something is going on when they're ready to tell you that something is going on. So that's my only thing is they come on and say, our sources say this. Well, it's like, no shit. Sorry, but you can't just call up and get the story given to you if they're not ready to present it.
Yeah, I mean, and again, I'm not going after the Monty Show, but, you know, they came out and said that that the Big Ten, that the California, Stanford editions would be all paid for. And he said Oregon and Washington, California, and Stanford editions would be all paid for. He did like 3 or 4 shows, and I might watch his show like for 5 minutes a week maybe, but people are telling me this, and then I go check out that certain part of the. And I went to my source, and they said, you know, no, that's not even part of. No. So, you know, I don't know, at times I don't want to say it, but I don't know, their sources are sounds really loosey-goosey sometimes. That's all I'm going to say. But,
fair.
But yeah, I can see why people think believe they're entertaining and like to watch it and stuff, so. But yeah, I don't think they should be going after anybody, though. I try not to. I just say I disagree or agree, and that's okay.
I think he just got worked up because, look, Oregon State fans, I'm getting a good look at it now because a whole lot of them are following me.
Yeah.
But they're very active.
Mm-hmm.
And so if he was getting pinged and dinged by them all day, I get it. He came in and he was like, enough of this, right? Like he just wanted it to stop. Yeah. So it, you know, maybe not a great look or whatever, but I don't think that there was actually ill will. Yeah. And once you realize it was me, we were cool. It was fine. It was fun. But yeah, so you know, people are like, oh, we got some drama, and it's like, not really. Fine. Yeah.
Now, Cade McNamara is ruled out for the rest of the year.
Yep.
That's official. Deacon Hill's a quarterback.
Hunter as our quarterback.
And you and I went at each, you know, a little bit at each other on Twitter, trying to tell.
Fine. I didn't. Sorry,
well, yeah, but normally, I'd say, you know, Minnesota's going to beat Iowa, and a Hawkeye fan would say, no, Iowa's going to beat Minnesota. But we went the reverse on it.
No, us. No, you'll beat us. Yeah.
Well, we never beat Iowa. That's one of the big problems. The other big problem is, look, Iowa returned a punt return for a touchdown against Michigan State. You're going to do the same thing against the Gophers? That's 6 points. You're going to get a big...
Funny?
Huh?
You want to hear something funny?
Yeah.
There's people now in Hawkeye Nation that want to have him be a wide receiver too. They want him to pull a Travis Hunter.
Yeah.
Be a receiver. And I'm just like, why? So he can get injured and we don't...
That's true. That's true. Well...
If someone... Because, when you're that important and you're on offense, it doesn't have to be purposeful, but you can just get a really bad shot. So,
yeah.
But, they're just that desperate to have like a hero come in and save the day. And it's like, well, let's see if our punter quarterback can get it done.
Yeah. I don't know. I think the Big Ten West title goes through Madison right now for sure.
Yeah. Or, if it gets really crazy, Northwestern.
I don't know. Thank goodness it's the last year for it, though.
Yeah. I know. I wanted it to be a big one, but now it's going out, with a fizzle.
Yeah, sure is.
Yep. That's all that's going on with that, though. So if you see anyone talking about it, it's all just kind of a funny little story.
Got it. All right. Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Nope. Have yourself a good show.
Yeah, you too, sir. Thank you. B says, good evening, Greg. I keep hearing that the Big 12 lawsuit must be settled before November 14th. If that happens, the Mountain West Conference will merge with the Pac. Thank you for the super chat. I appreciate the generosity of the show. But merge which way? Like, merge, yes. But merge and they are the Mountain West Conference, or merge and they are the Pac-14 Conference, and they get to keep a lot of the Pac-12 network assets. Which way is it? Merge, yes, but reverse merger, or they just fold into the Mountain West Conference. Either way, we have 9 FBS conferences. Either way, I believe we have now 4 autonomy conferences, and we keep the 5G conferences. But which way does it flow? Into the Mountain West Conference or into the Pac-12? And they keep a lot of those assets that the Pac-12 currently has. That's the question. But thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it. Now with the Michigan State, finally going to get to the story. That's the headline of this live show here. The headline of our live show. Hot Board 2.0 for the Michigan State Spartans. These are the 3 names that this is our Hot Board 2.0, but it's really our 1.0 because these are the names that are actually actively been discussed with us at Peek Around the Corner. Actively discussed. So Hartline, Brian Hartline, the wide receiver coach of the Buckeyes, he's not on this list. Other people that we listed at Hot Board 1.0 are not on this list. This is Hot Board 2.0. Active names that have actively been discussed with Peek Around the Corner. 3 names, top 3 names. We never go more than 3 names. 3 names, these 3 candidates that we believe would have strong interest to become the head coach of Michigan State, who would be attractive enough. Michigan State would have, are targeting names that they want to get. The combination of thereof, these are the 3 names. Number 1, this surprises me. In fact, I said he wouldn't be on the list on the Hot Board 1.0 show, I said he wouldn't be on the list. We have to put him on the list. And that's Lance Leipold, the Kansas Jayhawks. It surprises me. It surprises me now because I really honestly believe we at Peek Around the Corner that him and his wife do not want to leave Lawrence, Kansas. But we were told there's interest. There is between agent and Michigan State. He is on their hot board. So he's on our hot board, PATC hot board. But he's coming in right now at number 3. Right now at number 3. Now, he might be Michigan State's number 1 target. But we're going to put him on the hot board number 3 because we're not completely, totally convinced that he would actually go to East Lansing. They would have to bring up the brink truck full of cash, full of gold bars for Leipold to leave at this point. So we've got Lance Leipold at number 3, but the next time we do a hot board, he could easily be number 2 or number 1 on the board. Number 2 on the board, Charles Huff, Marshall's head football coach. Again, may never become the number 1. He's up in and around on the Michigan State board. There has been, we've been told, communication. We were told that by, I'll just call it a money perch individual. We have to put Charles Huff on this hot board list. Not number 1, not number 3. There might be some do-si-doing around Charles Huff here for the next couple weeks. But we got to put Charles Huff at number 2. And then the person we got to put number 1, who has a lot of experience in the Midwest, knows every state, knows recruiting in every state, knows names and people in every state. Jake Dickert, Washington State's head coach. Now, we know what he said. I don't know if it was yesterday, the day before. Dickert says something to the fact of, haven't talked to anybody at Michigan State, haven't talked to anybody, focused on the here and now. We're not thinking about yesterday, we're not thinking about tomorrow, we're thinking about the here and now, Washington State. I get all that. That's a lot of coaches speak when it comes, but that Dickert is a candidate, a strong candidate, strong interest in him, strong interest from him, from Michigan State. We were told Michigan State looking for somebody of strong character. Strong character. Above approach. Lance Leipold, you can talk about whatever. Incredible success, Lance Leipold. Incredible success. Whitewater. Everywhere. Buffalo. Of course, what he's done at Kansas. But he's above approach. Lance Leipold. Right? No, there is no red flags. Same thing with Dickert. Oh, that's the perception. The head coach of the Washington State Cougars, Jake Dickert, is in that same sphere as Lance Leipold. Runs a tight ship. Speaks up. His actions back up his words. And Charles Huff is the same guy of integrity. And you go look at Dickert's coaching career throughout the Midwest. He's been everywhere. Every state, Wisconsin, Stevens Point, Minnesota, the Dakotas, everywhere. He knows the area. Michigan State is strongly interested in Jake Dickert, and we've got him at number 1. No, you don't have to be a Saint now, but if you're going to be the new head coach of the Michigan State Spartans, you got to walk in those doors and immediately change the culture, not just for the football program, but for the entire athletic department. That's who they're looking for. An individual that they won't have to, he will be a stickler for the little things, that brings good culture to a football program. In other words, when he has meetings with people, he's always going to have people inside that room. So it's not a he said, she said. People who know how to conduct their business in a way that is that is worthy of leading young men in your football program. And the whole athletic department needs it, not just the football program. I get it. You can agree. You can disagree. This is what we're being told. Michigan State, above all else, it doesn't have to be a person with Power 5 head coaching experience. Head coaching Power 5 experience. It doesn't have to be a guy that's been a head coach for 10 years. It can be a young guy, it can be an old guy. But it has to be someone that is above approach, that sends a message right away. And those 3 names fit the bill. And the name that doesn't fit the bill, thank you, Mr. Henderson. Given the need to ease travel, etc., does Greg believe each legacy Pac-12 school will pay the other 3 legacy Pac-12 schools starting next year as protected rivalries? I don't think so. I'm not sure. Let me get to that. Thank you so much for the super chat, Helmer Henderson. Let me get to that in a second. The name that's not on the Michigan State list, at least as far as we know, and we've poked and prodded a little bit today, and we'll get at it more tomorrow, is this Urban Meyer report. Let me see if I can post this up real quick here. Let me get it up on the, let me see if this will work. Right here. College football report per Bernie Frattle. According to some reports, Urban Meyer will interview for Michigan State's head coaching position. Michigan State has a lot of donors to back this type of deal up, so we'll see where it goes. Now, who's Bernie Fratto? He's Fox Sports Radio national host, Detroit Lions pregame, postgame, and 97.1 CBS FM Detroit. Okay? So that's what he's reporting. According to some reports, Urban Meyer will interview for the Michigan State's head coaching position. Now, Brady Quinn put up a tweet and I did not see it. He says something to the fact that he did not agree with that reporting, but then Brady Quinn deleted the tweet. So that caused more speculation and whatever, because Brady Quinn works with Urban Meyer at Fox Sports. I have spent time on this. I'm not ready to conclude 100% no, Urban Meyer, Michigan State is not going to happen. But what I've been told, Michigan State is not looking in that direction. But people who have told me that are going to also poke and prod more, right? This report just came out. I'm not taking it seriously at this point. I'm just not. But if I get the phone call, if I get the text message, if I get the email that says, Greg, there is some smoke to that, then I'll report it as soon as possible. But at this point, we're not taking that report seriously. Not that people are making it up. No, that's not. It's just we don't have that. We don't have that independently. We have Leipold, Dickert, and Huff. Those were the names that were told to us. These are names that Michigan State is interested in. But it's early. I think it's still early in this process. Agents are still going back and forth. Maybe there's interviews lined up. Has there been any interviews? Possibly not. It's still a little early, but these are the names. Leipold, Dickert, Huff. Dickert number 1, Huff number 2, Leipold number 3. So I wanted to do the Michigan State Hot Board 2.0 because we finally got some good information. We believe real good information. The Urban Meyer blew up today. Possible Urban Meyer interview. We don't think that's what Michigan State is looking at for obvious reasons. We just talked about it. But I'm going to open up the phone lines once again. Phone lines are open, 763-260-1333. Let me get back to Mr. Henderson's great question. Given the need to ease travel, etc., does Greg believe each legacy Pac-12 school will play the other 3 legacy Pac-12 schools starting next week as protected rivals? I don't know. And by the way, we're going to find out real quick. Hold one second.
Call from
JD.
JD, can you hold on one second?
Yes, sir.
And great timing, by the way. Excellent timing. But hold on one second. We know for sure that Oregon and Washington are going to be protected rival. We know that for sure. All this time, I would have said most definitely those 4 schools are going to be, they're all going to have those 3 protected rivals. They're all going to have those 3 games against the other pack. It makes sense. It makes total logical sense. That's what should happen. That's why they should, that's one of the reasons why they brought on Washington and Oregon. But I don't have confirmation of that's happening. It makes sense. It should happen. But I know a lot of these schools do not want 3 protected rivals. Does USC, would they sign off on those 3 protected rivals? And the schools with a bunch more than 1 protected rival, it kind of balances, there's usually one real good football program versus not so good football program. That would be a very difficult Big Ten conference schedule year in and year out historically for, let's say, USC or any of those 4 schools. And then you have to play, you're going to be sent out to play or Michigan, Ohio State, Penn State. I don't know. That's my answer. But we're going to find out real soon. That schedule is supposed to come out real soon. Sometime like either October or November. That's been reported in public. I don't have it at the tip of my fingers right now. But we'll find that answer. I think it should happen, Henderson. I don't know. I'm not convinced it will happen. Mr. JD, the floor is yours. Mr. Seminole, what's going on, sir?
You doing okay, sir?
I'm doing all right. Yep.
Well, that's good. That's good. Concerning Urban Meyer, I'm going to think, and this is just, throwing this out there, he wants to keep his name in circulation.
Yeah.
And I don't think he has any problem in the world with his name getting thrown out there for higher profile job openings. I think he'll try to go back into coaching at some time, maybe one more go around at some point. I think this is a little too soon for him. I mean, what do you think?
The conversations I had, if he goes back into college football, and nothing against the ACC, the Big 12, whatever happens with the Pac-12, but been told that, of course, if he comes back, it's going to be with the Big 10 program or an SEC program, just because he's going to want all that media money, media exposure, da-da-da-da. And people thought that he would not go back to the rat race of the SEC. Okay? So now it looks like it would be a Big 10 program. Couldn't go back to Ohio State, wouldn't be a coach at Michigan. So now there's really only a couple of traditional Big 10 jobs opening left that he would go to. A Penn State or a Michigan State, probably not Michigan State, but possibly Penn State. And then you got UCLA, Oregon, Washington coming on in USC. There's not a whole lot of jobs that he would take. Are there any of those jobs that he would take that actually would be interested in him? That's the question, because he fell apart at Jacksonville. Yeah. He absolutely fell apart. I don't know. I think the odds are against we ever see him coaching again, but I understand your position. He might give it one more run.
I think his timing for the Michigan State job is bad because they're in the process of getting sued. I don't know how the Ohio State fan base views Urban now that he's left. He's got a lot of skeletons in his closet, and I mean a lot more than what people realize. And if for Mel Tucker to get fired for that, and I'm not saying he didn't deserve to get fired, I'm saying if allegations are true, especially when Urban was at Florida, it's so much worse than what Mel Tucker ever did. Now, those are allegations. I don't know if any of that's ever been proven true. There's lots of stuff, is what I'm saying. So what I'm saying is that the timing might not be optimum, is what I'm saying.
I don't think and I said in my monologue, I don't think Michigan State is looking for Urban Meyer. They need something different there.
Yes, sir. And so that's really all about that. I saw you had something down there about the Clemson meeting later this week.
Well, yes.
I know you hadn't had a chance to get to that yet. I doubt anything major happens, and that's just my personal opinion. Maybe they say some things, but I don't think there'll be any announcements. I think you hit the nail on the head last week that they're just putting public pressure on Notre Dame and Miami and others.
Yeah.
They're just trying to, push it on down the road that way that when the time is ready, hopefully you have enough people that are ready to play ball.
Yeah, and I think I will tell you behind the curtain, there is actual interest. Reporters are going to watch what happens here with the quarterly meeting at Clemson in regards to what the athletic director says and how he says it. Okay. That part of the meeting is what they're watching for. Everything else, so no announcement, nothing structurally, no voting, nothing like that. But what does Neff say, and how does he say it?
Very similar to the FSU Board of Trustees meeting, probably. That something has to be done, and we need to look at all of our options.
Except the Florida State one, all the board of trustees got their time behind the mic and said what they said. Don't think you're going to see that at Clemson.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay. Well, I just wanted to throw that in there about Urban Meyer, and I think you're right about Kentucky. I think Georgia wins the game, but right now, Beck, he doesn't. They're not willing to just turn him loose. Okay, they don't. Bobo and Kirby, they don't trust him yet. You know, what's the one thing that you do when you have a quarterback that's struggling a little bit? You take your best wide receiver and do slants and crossing routes and throw it to that person over and over and over again. And what did you see the second half?
Yeah, that's what they did.
Know?
Yeah,
that's exactly what they did. And you know, people could say, "Oh, well, he's not playing that bad." Yeah, they're not really giving him a lot of options right now. They're keeping it very vanilla, and they don't quite trust him yet. But I think they beat Kentucky. Just another example of the way everything is in, you know, just being redundant here, but you know, teams 1 through 10, they could all win the national championship, or they could all lose 3 games, and that's what makes this so exciting. I wish we could retroactively start the 12-team playoff this year. Is what I wish we could do, but you know, it is what it is. But that's about all I have tonight, sir. I just wanted to call in and say hello.
Appreciate it. Thank you, JD, Mr. Seminole, PATC, Mr. Seminole. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Have a great night.
You too, sir. Thank you, JD. Bill G, good show as always, Greg. Thanks, must run. Thank you for your super chat. Thank you for your generosity, Bill G. Thank you so very, very much. And AAR makes a good comment here. Mel Tucker players are gone. There is 30 days.
Call from
Moen.
Mr. Buckeyes on the floor. Moen, can you hold 1 second?
Yep, go ahead.
I'm just talking about Mel Tucker. There's a 30-day window for his players to get into the portal because they lost their head coach. And I don't, how many more days we got left? 27, 28, 29, whatever it is. So we might see some action there, unfortunately, for the Michigan State football program. Has there been anybody officially entered the portal yet for the Spartans? I don't know. I don't know if I've seen that yet. So we'll keep an eye on it. Mr. Moen Vision, Mr. Buckeye, what's going on? The floor is yours.
Good evening, Greg.
Good evening, sir.
I just want to throw some water on the Urban Meyer thing. That's not going to happen because I think there's one person who has something to say over it, and that's Shelley Meyer. And if Urban took that job, I don't think he'd be married very long. I believe the only job that she would feel comfortable with him taking would be the Notre Dame position, which isn't open at this moment. And I know that Texas A&M boosters are ready to cut the biggest check in college football history to get him to go to Texas A&M as well at the end of this year. But again, I don't think his wife is going to allow that to happen. I think she's put up with enough throughout his career that, like I said, the only thing I could see is that Notre Dame job coming open because he's a Catholic, she's a Catholic. But that would be the only job that I could see Urban Meyer ever taking, again, with the blessing of his wife. Yeah. So I wouldn't put too much weight into that. All the other candidates are really great candidates. But I wanted to put somebody else out there. Atkins out of Florida State, the offensive coordinator out of Florida State. I mean, that guy has got to start getting some looks here shortly.
Yeah.
He's done such a fantastic job under Mike Norvell. I think he's under 40, minority candidate.
Yeah.
I'd really like to see somebody within the Big Ten take a look at him for an opening this year. I don't know whether or not that'll happen. I think Chris Kleiman's probably the guy who's going to take over at Iowa. but
You
maybe
think so?
Northwestern.
You think still
Yeah,
Chris
yeah.
Kleiman?
I think Ferentz is out the door. Either he retires or they just. I think they would prefer he retires, but
Yeah.
I also think that they're not going to wait. You're getting ready to go into this new Big Ten. You're not going to wait for him to retire. You're going to have to push him out the door.
Yeah.
So I think Kleiman, he played at UNI. He's from Iowa. Makes sense that I think that would be their top pick to get in there. So
That would be a great hire, like Jared Jones in the chat room.
Fantastic hire.
Yes.
Yeah.
Immaculate just said they definitely would prefer if he retires. Does it seem like he's ready to go out the door on his own, though? To me, it doesn't seem like it.
Well, I don't know. Yeah, obviously not, Greg, because he wouldn't have left his son as offensive coordinator. But, I mean, he was trying for a Bill Snyder scenario where he would pass that job on to his son, but that's clearly not going to happen. So Iowa has to make some kind of change this year. It's unfortunate. Kirk Ferentz, hell, I can only remember 2 Iowa coaches, and the other one's Hayden Fry.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that goes to show you how dedicated those coaches are there. But, I think Chris Kleiman will take that job. Manny Diaz is another name that I think Michigan State has to take a look at.
He was a little immature as the head coach of Miami, Florida. So,
right. Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't disagree, but I think his time at Penn State, he's come around a little bit more. So we'll see, but it's interesting. I wanted to talk to you a little bit about the ACC, Greg.
Got it.
I am of the firm belief that we're only going to lose maybe 4 to 5 teams out of the ACC. And the ACC will survive and backfill much in the same way the Big 12 did.
I'm almost there with you. I'm almost totally there with you. Yep.
I think with the buyouts, the negotiations, there's going to be too much money to be spread around for schools like Pitt or UVA to want to leave for the Big 12 and take less money. So that being said, we know Clemson, we know Florida State, we know University of North Carolina. Number 4 and number 5, how would you rank it?
If Florida State goes to the SEC, I'd have to throw Miami, Florida in there.
Okay.
If they don't, then Miami, Florida is probably in trouble in regards to that. I got a feeling that some of this is speculation, some of this is
right. We're not going to hold you to it, Greg.
Yeah, well, I'm not sure. I'm not sure how interested Big Ten is in Virginia. I think that's a little weak there. So I'm sorry. Let me get Miami, Florida, and North Carolina State.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm pretty much there with you. I think depends on where Florida State lands.
Yeah.
I think if Florida State lands in the Big Ten, I don't think the SEC has any interest in Miami.
Yeah.
In which case, I think Louisville would be the next school up that the Big 12 might actually have a shot at getting would be Louisville. Because I don't see Syracuse or Pitt leaving that ACC with the strong private institutions and the strong academics and probably having about $1.5 billion extra dollars to kick around to their members. So I agree with you there. I thought it would be interesting to get your take on who you think is. We know who the 3 are. I just kind of wanted to see where you were at with the next 2.
Yeah.
And I wanted to let you know.
I'm in the
New
minority.
camera looks great.
What was that?
I said your new camera looks great.
Okay, it's okay. It brings out my best features, like my big stomach.
It gives you very rosy cheeks, Greg.
Good.
It
Beautiful.
reminds me of an Irving Berlin song. So.
I'm in the minority on North Carolina State in the fact that I think they got a real shot at getting in, at finding a home in the SEC, and crazy enough, a long shot to get a Big Ten. Because I've heard enough. I've heard enough on North Carolina State in their positioning in the state of Carolina, in North Carolina.
Yeah, I think both the North Carolina schools wind up in one or the other. I think I could see the Big Ten taking North Carolina State if they missed on North Carolina. I don't think they're going to miss on North Carolina. But if they did, I think North Carolina is valuable enough as a state and a media market that both the SEC and Big Ten are going to get schools there.
Yeah.
But,
all righty, sir.
Yeah, just wanted to call and see what you thought, Greg. You have a good evening and keep up the great show.
You too, Mr. Buckeye. Thank you, Long Vision. Big Ten Ted Kleiman and Iowa's a perfect fit. Talked to Chris many times during my time covering the Bison and Fargo. Great guy, awesome coach. Yeah, I think it would be a great fit. And I saw a comment talking about why would he leave Kansas State to a dog like Iowa. Iowa's not a dog program. And again, you know, Kansas State's in a great spot right now. Will continue to be in a good spot, but Iowa's going to get all that money. Big difference in money going for the next 5, 6, 7 years.
Call from
Kansas State fan.
Kansas State fan. Going to defend Kansas State. Says Iowa doesn't have a chance to get Chris Kleiman. What do you got to say, good sir? The floor is yours.
Well, I'm just going to make this the shortest call ever. And no, that's not happening. Kleiman already mentioned in previous news conferences that he's going to stay in Manhattan. He was asked about the Michigan State position. He said he's going to spend the rest of his time in Manhattan. He's AD. It was the one that gave him the opportunity in the first place. He's not leaving Manhattan anytime soon. That's a tough deal for the Iowa fans. They're gonna have to suck it up and deal with it.
Sounds great, Kansas State. I love when somebody calls in and says the Iowa Hawkeye fans have to suck it up. Beautiful. Thank you, sir. Yeah.
They have to suck up. The Iowa State fans. I mean, they're never gonna get Kleiman. I clearly get it. He's an Iowa guy, but nonetheless, he got his first Power 5 opportunity in Manhattan, Kansas. I would move to Missouri and adopt multiple casts if Kleiman ever went to Iowa. Like that's how confident and convinced I am that he ain't moving. That he ain't moving to Iowa City anytime soon. That I can tell you.
Got it.
Alrighty, that's all I need to say, to be honest.
Thank you, sir.
You know what? We'll just call it a night. All right. Take care, Greg.
Got it, man. Thanks for the call. Call again, Kansas State. Kansas State fan coming in hard, saying Kleiman's not leaving anywhere. Not going anywhere. Not leaving Manhattan. Immaculate says Kleiman's like 55, so I could see him not wanting to move. Immaculate also says, oh, my caller, can we bookmark this?
Call from
Crab cakes and football.
Oh, crab cakes and football. Now he's going to yell at me because I took the Buckeyes minus 19.5. Nice to hear from you, sir. The floor is yours.
Ah, Greg, why do you disappoint me like this? Come on now.
What? Maybe
Haven't you looked?
You should be happy. I'm Greg the Cooler now again.
Well, let me clue in the fans on a few things. And now, first of all, let me start off. No, Maryland won't be, favored or nothing like that. That's nothing like that. That ain't going to happen. But let's go ahead and today the injury reports came back, and we just got back 4 starters that we didn't know we were going to get back, like Jay Sean Barham, like Coleman McDonald, and I forgot the other 2. Corey Dyches and one other. Those are the reasons why they even started at -18, because they thought they were not going to be in the game. So that number is going to creep down. So
got it.
That's one thing. And second, I mean, I'm not a trash talker when it comes to football because, I mean, let's face it, we're the Maryland Terrapins. We're not freaking Ohio State Buckeyes. But on top of it, though, I do think we have at least a fighting chance to at least hang in the game like we did last year or back in 2018. I don't think it's going to be an 18 or 20-point spread. I mean, that's going to be a good game, I hope. They do have the off time. They do have, the week by time that they had. So I think that's going to be in their favor. But when it comes to my Terps, I think ever since last year when we lost that game, we had the ball with 6 minutes to go, down by 3, and we couldn't pull it off. We choked, basically. I think Talia and that team has been wanting this game ever since then.
You got it.
And I think that is what probably the reason why he even came back.
Yeah.
I think that is one of his missions right there, is to try to take down the Buckeyes. So I think he's going to go in at least with confidence this weekend. He's going to have at least majority of his team back. I don't know of any major injuries except for Barham had a knee and Corey Dyches had a knee injury, but they're apparently back. So, and that's 2 major weapons right there, one for defense and one for offense.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, they might win by 15. They might win by 3. I don't know, but there's also a chance they lose. And I'm hoping they lose, personally, because I'm tired of seeing us get our butt kicked by them all the time. So,
hey, first of all,
I'm hoping just one time. Yeah. One time I want us to win, and I can go another 10 years.
Yeah, I feel you, man. Look, you can trash talk. You can trash talk on this channel as long as you don't make it personal with another PATC community member. You can trash talk. Look, you sound sane, intelligent. You sound stable compared to me. I trash talked Michigan earlier tonight. Okay? And we know the Gophers
Somebody
got
tell
no
my
shot.
wife you said that.
Huh?
So someone tell my wife you said that.
Yeah,
Please.
yeah. You go right ahead. Although if she knows me, it's not going to be all that helpful to you, to be honest with you. I am seriously thinking about, I'm going to be doing a live watch party, Minnesota, Michigan, come next Saturday night. But I'm going to be doing a watch party, I believe, for the 12 o'clock noon, 11 o'clock Central, both games, the Buckeyes and the Terrapins in Texas and the Oklahoma Sooners, Red River Rivalry. I think I'm going to be doing a dual watch party for those 2 games. So I'm just putting that out there right now. That's what we are targeting here to do. So we're going to do a Terrapins game here, it looks like.
Awesome.
So I hope you can join us.
A couple weeks.
Yeah.
I have something planned that day, so I'm going to have to try to get it done and get back home to watch the game, so I don't know if I'm going to be able to get on. But a couple weeks ago, I went for the 3 SEC team losing, and I got 2 of the 3 right. So this week, I'm going for 2 teams. I'm going for Kentucky to beat Georgia, and I'm going for my Terps to beat Ohio State, because I do think ever since that game in College Park, we have the longest streak in the nation. I just found this out today on Big Ten. We have the longest streak in the nation of giving 20 or less points up in the nation.
Good.
I did not know that. So, I mean, it started with right after that game. I mean, it's a puncher's chance, I know, but I'm more confident this year than I was even last year. And I thought last year we had a fighter's chance. And we turned out to at least have a fighting chance towards the end until we blew it.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's where I'm at on that. So I think I'm not going to call my shot for Maryland to win, but I think we have a good chance to at least make it an entertaining game. If we walk out 5-1, hey, it was Ohio State. But if by chance we walk out 6-1, can somebody please rank us?
I got you ranked.
Gee whiz.
I PATC.
They have done everything they can to disrespect us.
I'm gonna show
like,
it right now if I can find it. I'm so unorganized. Right here, I'm showing it right now. She said, "I have Maryland." Yes, I did. Yes, I had to make sure I had Maryland before I showed it. Here we go. I'm putting it up on the screen. PATC's top 25, October 1st. I have Maryland Terrapins, number 21. And the AP voters didn't have them in the top 25. Shame on you, AP voters.
Huh. Yeah. I mean, I don't know why we can't help that Virginia was bad as they were, but they are a P5 team.
Yeah.
And then Michigan State's normally a good win, but we can't help what happened with Mel Tucker.
Yeah.
So that was a diminished win. And then Indiana is the only common opponent that we played against Ohio State. Granted, they got them in the first of the year. We got them at week 5. They won 23-3, I think it was, and we blew the doors off of them 44-. And we gave up a garbage touchdown with like 30 seconds to go, 17 or something. So, I mean, I don't know. I'm holding my hopes up, but you know how this goes. I hold my hopes up, and then they're going to turn around and destroy me, and I'll be like, okay, I was wrong. Yeah, that's how that normally goes.
Well, that's all.
But
That's college football, though. You know,
that's college football.
I mean,
so you know, if we're going to get them, we got to get them this year, because next year with the 4 teams that are joining, you're talking about a difficult schedule. Regardless of how easy they try to make the schedule, it don't matter. Yeah. You're still going to get somebody on your schedule that's going to kick your butt. And if you're doing a butt kicking, one of the two.
Three of those 4 schools are going to be losing their top
quarterbacks.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, but you just can't bring in another Caleb Williams, a Michael Penix Jr. in a Bo Nix that easily. So we'll see what happens next year. I'm all juiced for next year, though. I'm all juiced for it, but...
Well, you got to think, though, with NIL era, right now they're making all this money.
Yeah.
Does Caleb Williams jump to the NFL, or does he stay at USC for one more year?
He's gone. He's got to be gone.
You think he's gone? Because he's making millions. So they're going to try to keep Shiloh Sanders at Colorado. I mean, all these quarterbacks are going to try to stay, I think, and get that extra year, and then go for draft stock. Yeah. So they're not failing so easily in the NFL. That's just my prediction, though. I could be wrong.
Yeah.
So, all right, man. This is probably the longest conversation I've had with you, and it was a pleasure. So I'm going back to work. Talk to you later.
Sir. Appreciate it.
All right. Bye.
Yeah, next year is going to be so much fun, guys and gals. Next year is going to be it's going to be so much fun to watch it all play out.
Call from
Kansas State fan.
Kansas State fan coming in once again. What's going on, sir?
All right, so I apologize, Greg. First I have to get my 2 cents in on the Kleiman situation.
You bet.
I have to rethink about my thoughts. Now I'm a little bit on a war path. And I'm going to help out my brother Crabcakes, my fellow Maryland Terrapin, my fellow brother who's out of the top 25 because K-State's out of top 25 too. Anyways, I'll give you one little tidbit. And Monavision, I love you, but this is just business. Ohio State only has 2 national championships in the last 50 years. I mean, they treat themselves as college football royalty. Same goes for Oregon, and they haven't gotten a national championship to prove anything. They just have a lot of fans that talk smack on the internet. But you know what? It is what it is. Greg, I'm a little bit disappointed in your poll. I'm gonna have to admit it. you still had LSU in your top 25, but I don't know. I thought K-State was worthy of a top 25.
Yeah, they were right there. They were 26, 27. Yeah, I mean, now LSU has another a game this week that they could lose. I forget who they're playing. But I almost had them in the Kansas State's right there.
They're playing the team who beat us in Missouri.
Yeah, that's right. It's about a 6.5 point spread, something like that. Yeah,
absolutely. That's going to be interesting.
Yes. Yeah.
K-State has Oklahoma State on Friday night. Oklahoma State has not looked all that impressive. I mean, they've been starting 3 quarterbacks. They've given up 33 points to some garbage teams. So it's going to be very interesting.
Yeah.
I'm going to be down. I'm going to be down in Oklahoma for that game. It's going to be a lot of fun. But
okay. Yeah.
Anyways, I'll just leave that short. Hopefully I won't have to call again. But I'm now going to leave the show with a simple catchphrase. Give a like to Greg Flugar's videos, you cowards. The man is putting in all the work.
Thank you.
Give the man likes, you cowards. Subscribe to him, you cowards.
Thank you.
Do it. Do it right now. Do it right now. All right. Take care, Greg.
Appreciate it, sir. Thank you. I did take Kansas State. I picked Kansas State, 11.5 point spread. So did the PATC community. Wisconsin's another program that's never won the national championship. How about them? How about that, Evo Badgers?
Call from
Steve,
Mr. Bearcat, the floor is yours. What do you got to say, good sir? Thanks for calling.
how you doing, Greg?
Doing good. I'm doing real good.
Good. Hey, regarding the potential breakup of the ACC, about what teams are going to go where, I think we got to stop for a minute, as I alluded to the other night, and see what's going to happen with Notre Dame. Do they get enough money from NBC to stay independent? Do they not get enough money from NBC and join the ACC? Or do they not get enough money from NBC and go to the Big Ten?
That's the big domino, isn't it? That's the biggest domino.
I mean, to me it is. To me, they're the ones that, if they say, okay, Stanford's here, Duke's here, they play Syracuse, they play Boston College, they play five ACC games right now. If they say, all right, we're coming to the ACC, then maybe it's just 2 or 3 or 4 that leave the ACC. Maybe none of them do. If they stay independent, maybe 6 or 8 of them go. It's nobody. I mean, it's great that everybody can speculate on it, but it's still Notre Dame and NBC that are the key to this thing from my perspective.
Yeah, and like Mo and Vision did say, no one's holding anybody to what they're saying now.
I'm not criticizing anybody.
No, I know you're not. I'm just reaffirming what he said.
And I hate to tell Notre Dame, but what hit the headlines yesterday as far as what NBC's thinking, they want a little slice of that college football playoff pie too.
Yes, sir. Thanks for bringing that up. I forgot about that. Yes.
In the long run, that could hurt Notre Dame.
Yeah.
A little more, as far as what NBC may give them.
Yeah. That's really good news for college football when you have all those networks interested. I saw a report. A report, and I can't remember who did the report, but it was a week ago or 2 weeks ago, and said there's going to be about 10 networks or combination of network streaming companies interested in, but there's probably only going to be 5 serious ones.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that report that came out of NBC, they listed 5 of them, didn't they? And that's a pretty...
What I was surprised is, obviously they listed ABC, ESPN, Fox, NBC, then they said Apple and Amazon. What caught my eye was CBS wasn't in that report.
Yeah.
And I was kind of surprised at that, but, there's time. But I guess from what I understand reading the report is those 5 entities made presentations at the meetings. That's what I understand from that article. So we'll see. I just think, as I told you the other night, NBC and CBS, or I'm sorry, NBC and Notre Dame, man, they whatever happens between them could change a lot of things.
Yes, sir.
I really think it could. So
yes, sir.
Anyhow, all I got tonight, Greg.
Appreciate it. Steve, Bearcat Steve, beautiful call once again. Thank you, sir. Phone lines are open, 763-260-1333. We've got a lot of great phone calls. Coming in tonight. I'm looking for a comment here, and I have lost it. Oh, Gavin, what is this? Minnesota Golden Loafers are the worst fans because they've been happy with 6 wins for the last 50 years.
Oh, my
God. Don't know about that. We are happy. We are a happy fan base. We love our Golden Gophers. Very difficult for us to compete in football. But, we just fired a coach, Glenn Mason. He won 6 games a year. We fired him. We fired Tracy Claeys, who won 9 games. Although there was good reasons why we fired Tracy Claeys. I'm not going to go into it in this live show. But a lot of things behind the scenes, not good. So they had to fire him. Tune in to watch Greg's Pain. Yeah. You know what, though? It's going to be David versus Goliath. David versus Goliath. The Little Brown Jug. Michigan's going to roll into Minnesota. Everybody's going to expect a blowout. Minnesota might not even have their best running back, Darius Taylor, who's probably the best, most likely the best freshman running back in the Big Ten, maybe the whole country. Because he sprained his ankle in that game late against Northwestern. Michigan, Minnesota. J.J. McCarthy, I'm not scared. Corbin, I'm not scared. Donovan Edwards, I'm not scared. Michigan's offensive line, I'm not scared. Michigan's defense, I'm not scared. Jim Harbaugh, I'm not scared. Minnesota, Golden Gophers, special teams.
Oh my God!
I'm scared. Okay. Guess who's got the highest completion percentage in college football? J.J. McCarthy with 79% completion percentage. I know he's got 79%. Is Bo Nix highest go, Ducky? I don't know. I do not know. Well, I think we're going to close it up for tonight. We got on real late, later than we usually do. We gave you no heads up. Oh, a little bit, 30 minutes prior, but we were scrambling to get this live show up and running. We're going to be doing some episodes and live shows throughout the rest of the week as we head into week 6. Texas Longhorns versus the Oklahoma Sooners. Red River Rivalry. We're going to be doing a watch party covering that game and the Buckeyes and the Terrapins. Then later on, it's going to be Michigan and Minnesota. But we have a lot to get to this week. Remember, Thursday, October 5th, 2 days from now, we're going to be listening very carefully to Clemson's athletic director, Graham Neff, to see what he has to say, how he says it, the words he chooses during the quarterly meeting. We're expected to see Clemson's athletic director discuss Clemson's possible future realignment in that quarterly meeting. And when he does, when he says what he has to say in the manner he says it, we're going to be coming on live here at Peek Around the Corner. So stay with us, stick with us very closely. Talking about college football, realignment, and everything that has to do with college football with expanded playoffs coming up in 2024. It's a very exciting time to be a college football fan. It's a very exciting time here at Peek Around the Corner. So stick with us here this week as we go into week number 6 in the 2023 football season. Until next time, from all of us at PATC, to all of you, please, you all take great care of each other. Thank you so very much.